Hi chess friends, today we are going to witness Humpy's brilliancy. Humpy plays with white, Yakubbaeva Nilufar is black. Humpy starts with d4, black plays knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, b6. Queen's Indian defense, Petrosian system, a3 to prevent the pin of the queen's knight. Bishop b7, knight c3, bishop e7, preparing to castle. d5, challenging the e6 pawn, castle on the king side. e4, preparing e5, which will remove the knight from f6 square, which is bad for black. So d6 by black, controlling the e5 square, which will prevent e5. Bishop d3, white's pawns dominates the center. c6 by black, to exchange some pawns, castle on the king side. c pawn takes d5 pawn, c pawn takes d5 pawn, e pawn takes d5 pawn, e pawn takes d5 pawn. Now black's pieces can develop freely. Knight b d7, bishop c2, rook c8, rook e1, controls the open c file, rook e8. Both players fight for the e file. Bishop f4, a6, knight d4, bishop f8, offers exchange of rooks. Rook takes rook, queen takes rook, queen d2, preparing to bring the rook to e1, g6, mistake by black. Best move is to take the d5 pawn with the knight, which will win the pawn. Rook e1, attacks the queen, queen d8, moves it to safety. Bishop b3, defends the d5 pawn, queen c7, h3, avoiding back rank checkmate. Rook e8, offers exchange of rooks. Rook c1, Humpy not interested in exchange. Queen b8, avoiding any discovery attack by rook. Slightly better is knight c5, knight c6 by white. Knight gets an excellent square with the tempo. Queen a8, black wants to win a pawn by bishop takes knight, d pawn takes bishop, queen takes c6 pawn, knight e2 by white. Now rook also defends the knight. Knight c5, blocks the knight from rook and attacks the bishop. Bishop a2, moves it to safety. Now black cannot win a pawn. If bishop takes knight, d pawn takes bishop, queen takes c6 pawn, b4, knight c e4, queen d3, queen b5, queen takes queen, a pawn takes queen, and the extra pawn advantage is nullified by doubled b pawn. Both the b pawns cannot be defended and will fall very soon. White has the advantage. Back to the position. So black played the best move, a5, b4, attacks the knight, bishop a6, threatening rook takes knight on e2, knight g3, moves the knight to safety, a pawn takes b4 pawn, a pawn takes b4 pawn, knight c e4, knight takes knight, knight takes knight, queen c2, bishop g7, queen b3, preparing b5, which will reduce the light colored bishop's mobility. Bishop b5, stops pawn to b5, bishop b1, knight c3 was played. which is a mistake. Best move is h5. Let's see the continuation. Queen f3, bishop b2, rook e1, queen a1. Everything is okay for black. Back to the position. Knight c3. The problem with knight c3 is that it leaves the d6 pawn undefended. If d6 pawn falls, then white will have a nice passed pawn. Rook takes knight, rook e1 check, king h2, rook takes bishop, queen takes rook, bishop takes rook. It's not good to take the d6 pawn now. If bishop takes d6 pawn, bishop takes knight, c pawn takes bishop, queen takes c6 pawn. White will lose the passed pawn and the advantage. First, white needs to secure the c6 square. So, queen c2 by white. Slightly better is queen e4, bishop f6, bishop takes d6 pawn. White wins a pawn and creates a nice passed pawn on the d file. Queen e8, bishop f4, queen d7, queen e4. White centralizes all the pieces. Bishop a4. Another mistake by black. Best move is h5. Let's see the continuation. Bishop e3, queen c7 check, king g1, king g7. White has the advantage of having a passed pawn. Black needs to play for the draw. Back to the position. Bishop a4, queen c4, queen f5, bishop g3. Inaccuracy by Humpy. Bishop e3 is good for white. b5 by black. Blunder by black. Best move is h5. Let's see the continuation. h4, king g7, queen a6. White has an extra pawn and has a small advantage. Back to the position. b5. The problem with b5 is that it blocks its own bishop from the important squares such as d7 and e8. Queen c5, h5, d6 pushes the passed pawn. h4. Queen takes queen by black would have prolonged the game. Pause the video and find the brilliant move played by Humpy. After some move, black resigned. Compliments on finding the move. The move is knight e7 check, which forks king and queen. Bishop is forced to take the knight. Queen takes queen. H pawn takes bishop with check. White should not take the g pawn with the king. If king takes g pawn, now black has the tricky winning move, that is bishop takes d pawn with check. Queen f4, bishop takes queen. Black has a extra bishop and will win from here. Back to the position. Humpy played the best move, that is f pawn takes g3 pawn. If g pawn takes queen, d pawn takes bishop, there is no way to stop the pawn from queening, as the f8 square is controlled by the e7 pawn. Black's king cannot go near the e7 pawn. Back to the position. So black played bishop takes d6 pawn, queen c8 check, king g7, queen c3 check, king g8, king g1, bishop f8. Black has no compensation for the queen. It's not possible for two bishops to draw against a queen. So black resigned on move 48. Now it's puzzle time. Black to play and win. Post your solutions in the comment section.